Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Orange Butterfly Effect. Today, you are stuck with me, but I am also happy to be here with you. And this episode was inspired by two things. Number one, it is September. And I think that September has become the new January. And that was affirmed to me by an episode of Good Morning America. So that was number one. And number two, I developed this 33 for Me challenge over 7 months ago. And I have been holding on to it. But now that I am back in the classroom with so many amazing athletes and athletic minded people, I feel like I'm ready to share this. And I did it myself and had really great results. So, have my show notes ready to chat with you. Excited to chat, and let's dive in. So, let me talk to you first about why I decided to create this challenge when so many other challenges exist out there. 75 hard being an example of one that I will share with you. But I decided 7 months ago, so that was in February, to develop this challenge because I was really sick of living my whole adult life in extremes. It was like this rinse and repeat cycle. That's the only way I can describe it. I was constantly overtraining, pushing my body past its limits, feeling exhausted, crashing, taking a break because I needed one, and then doing it all over again, over and over and over, and just repeating the cycle. And last February, I really needed to be in one of those reset phases. It was right after the new year. I had already done the thing that I did every year before, maybe a little differently, but I wanted to reset. And I was thinking about getting back on track by trying 75 hard. And maybe if you're listening, you've done the 75 hard challenge, and I really admire the challenge itself. If you haven't done it before, basically, you commit to two 45-minute workouts. One must be outdoors, no matter the weather, a day. A structured diet, so no cheat meals at all, no alcohol. 1 gallon of water per day. You read 10 pages of a nonfiction self-development book, something that's fulfilling. And you have to take a daily progress photo. That felt like it would get me back on track and get me to this place of peak performance, which is really attractive to me since I am extremely type A and a DI on the disc scale. And I could tell you my whole persona, but I'll just say I'm type A. Then there's also the 75 soft challenge, which was super attractive to me. And that includes exercise for 45 minutes a day, 5 days a week. Eating well and drinking alcohol only socially or in moderation if you do drink. Drinking about 3 liters of water per day, so less than a gallon, and reading 10 pages of any book. And that was a little less extreme, may have gotten me somewhere close to peak performance, not the ultimate peak performance though, but still it was extremely structured. So, when I was thinking about this peak performance, that's what really sparked me to develop my own challenge and finally find something that I could customize and be tailored to me. So, I just started to think, do I really want to perform at my peak all of the time? And of course I do. Yes, the answer to that was yes. But then as I was reflecting on the course of my life, there's always been this decline on the other side. Perform, 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 decline. Perform, 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 need to reset, whatever it may be. And I love the outdoors. I love to hike with my husband. And I was like, what if I really treat life like a hike? And I stopped chasing this peak moment because even when I'm on a hike, I'm always thinking, let me just enjoy the elevation. Let me just enjoy this experience because the peak is only going to be a fleeting moment in time. And then we're going to have to come all the way back down. So I started to adopt that mindset. And then I started to shift from peak performance to optimal performance. So, not the highest high, as I mentioned, but also the best I could do with the time, energy, and resources that I actually had available to me as a human being. This level of performance seemed very sustainable And what I was looking for as I age is something sustainable over my lifespan. So that was kind of like my aha why. Now, did I expect it to work? No. I I had high hopes, I should say, but because I was still developing a system, I just anticipated that the structure would take over. But it actually did work, and I want to walk us through and remind myself why it did. I do have to admit, though, that at first I absolutely hated the system that I created. Everything felt so much slower, and I felt my performance slipping because realistically, I was doing a little less in every area of my life. I was working out less. I felt unproductive in some of the ways that I used to because I was always doing something for that peak performance feeling. And I'm going to introduce you to this F concept, 5 Fs. But in the midst of this, I was really thinking like F this, truly. And I was tempted to fall back into old habits and start the 75 hard or soft challenge because obviously what I created had not been tested before. And I just wanted something that would work. But then 2 Sundays in, it was a cold day in March, something just shifted. And I woke up on a Sunday and I was not feeling dread or Sunday scaries or exhaustion. I woke up, went through my morning routine, did my workout, and I just felt really excited for the day. And I felt really excited for the week ahead. And that is not a feeling that I had when I was performing at peak performance. I realized then that maybe I was optimizing my performance. I had more energy, it lasted, there wasn't this decline. It just felt really steady, almost like an endurance run. And I relate a lot of things to an endurance run because I think that feeling feels so good. So it was steady. And it wasn't extreme for the first time in my life. I didn't feel forced. I felt like I was just flowing. And again, still performing at an optimal level, not peak, not underperforming, but optimal. And during this phase, I realized that maybe for the first time, I wasn't reinventing myself through this rinse and repeat cycle, but instead I was elevating the version of me that already existed. It was just a best self type of experience rather than a reinvention of self. And I really liked how that felt. And if you know me or you've been here for a while, you know that I like to write first and share next. I get my thoughts out best in writing. So I'm going to introduce you to this 33 for me challenge. That's what I was building to through an article that I'm going to publish with this episode. And I invite you to join the challenge if it's something that you think could be also, not reinventing of yourself, but elevating to your current self. So here we go. As I mentioned, September is starting to feel like the new January. Things are happening, my friends. Labor Day was just upon us. It's back to school season. The end of summer vacations are here and gone. And I don't know about you, but when this change starts to happen, I get this urge to set fresh goals or dust off old ones that I had earlier in the year and finish the year out really strong. So it's not a complete reset when we get to the new year. But the thing here is, I did mention revisit, and I want to ask what happened to your New Year's goals. Are they still on track, somewhere in between, totally out the window? Mine were somewhere in between, I'd say. But I invite us all to exhale. And this is for my fellow type A, high achieving go getters, but also for my friends who are listening who are a little off the rails right now because it is easy to be. I think collectively, we all make it so very hard when it doesn't have to be. So, I want to ask you to lean into September and actually reset with me over the next 33 days if you are interested in a way that is sustainable, most importantly, simple, and fits into the life that you may already be living. So, as I mentioned, I created and completed this 33 for Me challenge. Now, it's been 7 months, so I have been completing this time and time again. I just keep going. There hasn't been a stopping point. And I like that I waited this long because I would never recommend something that I didn't try first myself, especially when it was created by me. And I really want to reiterate here that this is not some sort of new year, new me trend. It's really not. I started this for one reason for myself, and that is so finally I could simply just be me, the best version of me, not just in January, but for all 12 months of the year and for my lifespan. But it all begins with building habits, which is why it started with just 33 days. So to reiterate, because we are conditioned, this is not a new year, new me trend. It is definitely about elevating the totally awesome person that you already are and that already exists. So, this is where it starts. It starts by identifying your 5 F's. And for me, my 5 F's are fuel, flow, find, focus, feel. So, I invite you to use those as your F's as well. What's important to note is even if we use the same words, your F's won't look the same as mine or your best friends, and they shouldn't. Because the importance of this is the fit, that other F, that this actually fits you and your lifestyle. That's what made it work for me, is it finally fit into my world in a really intentional way. And I like to compare it to your favorite pair of jeans. They should fit you, not the other way around. It's the same thing here. Design a plan that actually and realistically works for you, your lifestyle, and your goals. And to do that, we need to be really thoughtful and aware of where we are right now. So take a second to think about that. I'm going to give you a few parameters and ideas, but ultimately, again, it's up to you to fill in the blanks. There is one non negotiable that I mentioned, though, and that is hydration, which has been so critical in my experience. And I love the Peloton. That is what I use every day, every morning to work out. And Rebecca Kennedy is one of my favorite instructors. And she always says, because hot people drink water. And drinking water is so elevating. It is something that I just never took seriously. So, although everything else is negotiable, I would say the non negotiable here is to hydrate throughout the day. So, cheers to that. So, here we go. The first F, fuel. This is just a suggestion. Choose a nutrition plan that works for you and drink at least, not the suggestion, but of course a suggestion, 2 liters or 72 ounces of water daily. Flow. Move your body for at least 10 minutes each day in a way that feels good to you. Again, a way that feels good to you. Find. Seek out one moment of joy every day and capture it. Focus. Journal every day. I think this was my favorite one. And it can be one word, a sentence, a whole page. It doesn't matter. Just every day write something down on a piece of paper. It is super transformational. And then finally, feel, the last F. Take 1 minute to check in with yourself at the end of each day. How do you feel? If you ever ask yourself that question, and document it in some way. So now I want you to think about the F's that you're committing to. And while you do, I'll share mine, what I've done repetitively for months now based on this. So let me tell you what has been going on in my world. I started this by using I am statements because I really believe in the power of an I am statement when we're doing something. So I encourage you to do the same, but of course, customize this however you would like. So fuel, my first F. I am prioritizing whole foods 80% of the time, and I am drinking 72 ounces of water daily, which means I fill up my Awala water bottle 3 times per day, which is something that I feel like I can achieve and did achieve realistically with my life. Number 2 is flow. I'm getting in 10,000 steps per day. Number 3, find. I am taking a photo of the moments that bring me joy throughout the day. Focus. I am journaling every day. feel I'm recording a voice memo before I fall asleep at night to reflect on the day. And now it's your turn. So hopefully you can see how simple those things are. I do them every day because I'm able to do them every day because they fit into my world. And that's why I love this, because then I feel accomplished and I'm at optimal performance. So you can pause the episode here or come back or just continue to think with me. But I do invite you to jot down your 5 F's. You can use the notes on your phone or a piece of paper, whatever makes the most sense to you. But writing it out really does have an impact. So take some time to do that if you are in on this with me. So, to close out here, I am going to have a QR code in the article that I published with this episode. So, if you do decide to join the 33 for Me challenge, I will hold you accountable. That is an important piece of the puzzle, is maybe to share with someone else that you're doing this. So, if you scan the QR code and you share with me that you are joining, I will commit to follow up with you in 33 days and reach out and see how it's going. But I'm really sharing this because it has been transformational to my life personally. Again, starting and continuing as someone for so long that was overachieving and reaching for peak performance that was temporary. This is something that I have been able to sustain for almost a year now, and it feels really good for both my mind, body, and soul. So that is why I'm sharing it back with you. Over this month, I have some really exciting guests coming up, and the focus is going to be on overall wellness, total wellness. So I look forward to sharing that with you as well. But this is kind of the kickoff for the September month and for the season. So, my friends, thank you so much for listening, and I hope you find one thing that brings you joy today. Bye.